펌킨이 무료 배포 중입니다. 기간 내 받으면 평생 사용 가능해요. 컴프 쿨템입니다. 소리를 더욱 댐핑감 있게 만들 수 있어요. 힙합, R&B, K-pop 등 다양한 장르에 사용 가능합니다. 드라이브, 프리, 포스트 등을 조절해 원하는 믹싱을 할 수 있어요. 유료 전환되기 전에 빨리 받으세요. 다운받는 법은 링크에서 이름과 이메일 입력 후 코드를 받아 설치해 사용하면 됩니다. 컴플리트 14 셀렉트가 50% 할인 중입니다. 종합 선물 세트예요. 곡 작업에 필요한 다양한 악기와 이펙트가 한 번에 들어있습니다. 베이스, 신스, 리버브 등 꿀템들이 많아요. 초보분들이 막 시작할 때 쓰기 좋은 패키지입니다. 컨탁 7 크로스그레이드가 50% 할인 중이에요. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
Features is how you can get a quick demo of each preset just by clicking it. If you like what you hear, just double click it to load it up, and then you can play it, however you want with MIDI. Whenever you pull up a Kontakt instrument, there's two main parts. This top section with these controls here, and the instrument controls at the bottom. This top section is in every single Kontakt instrument. The most important things to pay attention to are the MIDI channels here. You'll usually want this to be set to channel 1 or Omni. There's some other basic controls like solo, mute, panning, volume, and tune. It even tells you how much memory a library takes up, which I'll show you later how to greatly reduce that memory use. Below these controls is the instrument interface. And these controls and interface will be unique according to whatever library you're using. For example, with some instruments, you can drag MIDI out of it, or you can drag samples directly into Kontakt. It all depends on the instrument you're trying to use. Here's a few other settings that you should know about. To pull up some more menus and controls, just click this button here. What I like to always have on is the keyboard. This helps show how the instrument is mapped across the MIDI keyboard. The other thing you may want to pull up is the outputs. This lets you see the levels of any instruments inside of Kontakt. Not very handy when you only have one instrument, but it becomes much more valuable for the other main way to use Kontakt. Now the next way to use Kontakt is by having multiple instruments.
하이브리드 3가 76% 할인 중입니다. 레알 신스 꿀템이에요. 요즘 유행하는 곡 만들 때 필요한 다양한 신스가 들어있습니다. 1200개 이상의 사운드가 있어요. 베이스, 플럭, 리드 등 꿀템이 많습니다. 힙합, R&B, 레이지 등 만들 때 쓰면 좋아요. Xpand 2가 92% 할인 중입니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요. 멜로디 소스2가 50% 할인 중입니다. 역대 최저가예요. AI 자동 멜로디 꿀템입니다. 세팅 설정 후 버튼만 누르면 무한 생성 가능해요. 멜로디 찍는 게 고민이신 분들에게 강추합니다. 코드, 피치, 옥타브, 그루브 등의 세팅 후 곡에 알맞은 멜로디를 만들 수 있어요. 변형해서 사용하면 됩니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
Happens. What do we get? And I actually really like that. I thought I might have to click a few things to show you how to get something, but I'm already feeling that with what I have. It's a great sounding melody with the patch that I've got going here. But one of the really cool things about Melody Sauce is it's gonna remember that no matter what. And if I come in here and choose something else, it's gonna generate a new MIDI file. However, we can generate or manipulate this particular MIDI instance, or melody instance rather, in terms of speed, octave, swing, and triplet, syncopation, and so on, without generating a new MIDI clip. All right, so that's very cool. Now, if I came in here and pressed Complex Dark, it will give me a new MIDI clip. And the cool thing about it, like I said, I already like this one. I can.
옥스퍼드 다이나믹 EQ가 55% 할인 중입니다. 레알 EQ 꿀템이에요. EQ와 컴프를 동시에 사용할 수 있습니다. 보컬, MR 믹싱할 때 자연스러운 결과물을 얻을 수 있어요. 조작도 간단하고 직관적입니다. 5개 밴드로 더욱 디테일한 믹싱을 도와줘요. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
Interesting in that you can use peak, which just looks at the level, and you've got onsets, which looks at the speed of change, and you can make it home in on transients. Each band has its own separate set of controls, indicated by colour, and you can enable or disable the bands from here. You can monitor them or solo them, so you can listen to exactly what it is you're EQing, and you've got separate sidechain controls underneath. You can sidechain internally or externally, and you can filter the sidechain separately from the processing band, which is really nice. It's one of my big things that I really like, is the fact that if you home in on this, you enable the sidechain. The sidechain's usually tied to the band. So if I switch that off, we'll see that this sidechain kind of width control follows the band of EQ. But if we enable the sidechain here, we find that you can process a different band to the one you're keying against, and you can adjust here. You've got filter type choices, you've got shelves and peaks for the processing band, and you've got high and low pass and peaks for the sidechain. So really nice. Also, using this above and below, we can either do a reduction in a kind of ducking compression type dynamic EQ move, or
스무스 오퍼레이터가 50% 할인 중입니다. 믹싱 꿀템이에요. 사운드를 상당히 깔끔하게 만들어줍니다. 보컬, 드럼, 기타 등에 사용하면 훨씬 클리어한 결과물을 얻을 수 있어요. 리버브 등의 응용에 사용하면 좀 더 풍부한 사운드 디자인이 가능합니다. 저렴할 때 득템하세요.
So you can hear there that it's removing some of that harsh resonant frequency in the mid-range. Now, that's just the very basics here. What we can do to further sculpt the sound that we have here are by using these points. And if I bring it above the threshold, it's going to allow that frequency to pass through. And I've actually seen some videos on YouTube that say the opposite. And it's kind of not intuitive in that sense, but once you understand it, it's not an issue.